page 22, right? I can use technology to find a function best fit in my scatter plot. I can write an equation, so that's when we are looking at y equals and we're looking at our slope-intercept form. Okay, that's what we had to do today. You're going to be doing more of that tonight with some of the graphs, except that we're going to use our technology. We're going to have the calculator compute for us. It'll compute this, the slope, and it'll compute our y-intercept for us, and then we're going to be checking the correlation coefficient. It says that that's going to be between -1 and 1 inclusively. We'll kind of look at that. Explain if it's a good, the measure of goodness of our linear fit. We're going to look at that correlation coefficient using our graphing calculators. Some of these older calculators don't show the correlation coefficient. Some of the newer ones do. So when we look at that, and then we're going to be trying to interpret what these equations mean when we look at our situation. So at the top of this page, if you would read for us, Maria, where it says the vocabulary. If you continue, Cassandra.
The graphing calculator also gives you the correlation coefficient R, a number from -1 to 1 that tells you how close to the equation model is.
Keep going, Keegan. The near reading in the vocab.
Near R is the one underneath the more close to the data close to the line. R is near one that the data line is close to the line of best fit with positives. If R is near -1, the data line close to the line.
So we look at this data that's plotted, so it's going to be like plotted on a graphing calculator today. We'll see something like this. It says it's -0.9. That's almost close to it. If I'm drawing that line of best fit, I mean, pretty much everyone's lines are probably going to look almost the same, right? Whereas if I'm looking at this line of best fit, I might have people drawing actually many different lines that would come up with that. Like I might have someone say, you know what, I'm going to start from here and get this data. And I might have someone else pick another line, and they had their line going like this. And both of those would be right in today's homework if you were doing it, because you're looking at your line of best fit. And when I asked people when they came in this morning, I was looking and I said, did your y-intercept match this number over here on your graph? And some people's matched really close, and some people had like 5, and I could tell on their graph it was like 13 or 14. Well, if the y-intercept that you're giving me doesn't match this, I can kind of tell right away. That would make it wrong for your equation. So they kind of have to match those two things. And then I would need to have seen a slope of a negative number. So no correlation, and again, there could be many lines drawn for this one, and really only one line drawn for this one, because all of our data points, if we looked at them here, are pretty much on a nice straight line, okay? What we are going to be doing is using our graphing calculators, and I know it's new for you using a graphing calculator. So before we go to this page, so we are going to be looking at putting this in, but before we do that, we need to go through a few things on your graphing calculator. So first off, when you look at your graphing calculator, okay? When you take a look at your graphing calculator, there's a couple of different things that you want to make sure you understand. The on button and the words in blue above, those are when you hit the second function. Anytime on the graphing calculator, when you see that up arrow, okay, so everyone have a graphing calculator on their desk. They're right up in the front of the room. Make sure you grab one if you did, okay? So I'm going to show you just a couple of things, and I'll show you how to get off that screen. So second, and this is called the home screen, where it says this quit right here. So if you have second, everyone has an up arrow. Now hit the mode button. Okay? So hit the second button. And Emily, did that take care of it? You hit the mode. Is it blank? Hit second, and then hit mode. You got to hit the second first. Hit the second button, and now hit. There you go. So you hit second and mode. If you only hit mode, it gives you a bunch of different things that you can change. We don't want that right now. I want you to hit the second button, and this brings you what's called the home screen. So this is where you type in the numbers and do the problem, okay? I want you to go to the y equals. Hit y equals. You can see it up here. Yours, if there's anything in there, please clear it. If there are any equations, so like if I would have had x minus 2, okay, I want you to clear all of those. You hit the clear and you hit enter. So make sure all of yours are clear. Next, I want you to get everyone together, so go back to the home screen. How do you get to the home screen? Second, quit or mode. Okay, so everyone should be on a blank screen. We are now going to look at a couple different things. The first one is up above the y equals. What word do you see? Stat plot. We're going to be plotting statistics today. So what I need you to do right now to get to that, we have to hit the second. So I see my up arrow. And then I'm going to hit y equals. Okay. Now, we are going to use stat plot 1. So on this one, please hit enter. So, could we have done our box and whisker plots on here?
Yeah.
By putting that data in. Could you have done a histogram? You can see histograms, right? So what we want to do is we want it on this first type, but you got to make sure that you're on, because if I use the arrow button and turn it off, I don't want that. I want it to make sure that the on. So hit on. Then you can use your arrow button to go down, and it says, is this the type of graph you want? Yes. We want ours to be in list 1 and list 2. And then this is telling me, do you want it to be these open circles on your graph? And I do, that's fine. If you want it to be a plus on one of these other things, you can change yours, okay? Okay. So, then when you are done with this, you're going to hit, okay, so whichever one you want. Now we're going to go back to our home screen. Second, quit. Again, let's go to the stat plot. Hit second, and it's the y equals. And the only one you should see on is the first one. Go to the y equals. Notice at the top, my stat plot 1 is highlighted. Okay? The reason that's highlighted is I have that one turned on. The other buttons we're going to use. We're going to use the zoom button today in the middle up here. We are going to use the graph button. Okay? What I want you to do right now is use the stat button. Stat is right here in the middle, right kind of by your arrows. Okay, everyone find stat. Go get a different one. So some of our calculators are older, some of the screens we're finding they don't work that great and they kind of have, okay? So here's where in your homework, in your notes, it's telling us. We're going to use the graphing calculator to find the line of best fit. What is the correlation coefficient, decimal places, and predict the cost? So this is the same problem we did yesterday. So what we're going to do is on your calculator, first thing is there are some, you're going to hit at the edit, you're going to hit enter. And I want you to go, okay, so you hit stat, and the directions say from the edit menu, hit enter. So at the word at the top says edit, you just hit enter. And you get to these lists. Okay? Yep. Put the cover on. Just set it back there. So everyone hit stat. And then this word edit is at the top, and same with number 1, and you are going to hit enter. Please use the arrow button. Use the arrow button. Use the arrow button. No, do your calculator only. Do your calculator only. I know. He can push the buttons on his. So using the arrow button, notice right now L2 is highlighted. And it lists everything that was in list 2. Hit clear. And then hit enter. Please use your left arrow button and go to the top of list 1 so that L1 is highlighted. Hit clear. Hit enter. It cleared your whole list. Now, when you go to plot these and put this data in, if these two lists do not have the same numbers and you go to do a stat plot, it will say dim mismatch, or you can't do this, error, okay? Because you don't have the same number of data points in each of them, okay? So, what I want you to do in list 1 is start putting in, and you're only putting this number in, the 2000, the 2001, 2002, start putting those in your graphing calculator to plot these, because tonight in your homework, you're going to use your graphing calculator to look at that plot. So, hit the zoom button. So, a lot of times, if you go to your standard graph, 6, if you just type in 6, or you arrow down and then hit enter, that's usually a 10 by 10 graph. That doesn't help us. You're not talking. You're just hitting zoom and then standard. Not talking. So, when you hit zoom, underneath there, you should see the word standard. Okay? That is a 10 by 10 graph. That doesn't help us. So please hit zoom again. We are not zooming in or zooming out. We are going down to option 9, which is zoom stats. We wanted to show our statistics. So we hit enter. So, I now want you to hit the trace button. You see trace? Trace is right next to the word graph. It's telling us each of those points. And if I use my right arrow, it moves on those data points. Okay? Hit zoom. So, to get your graph to show, again, it was zoom and then 9, stat. You might not have your stat. You have your here. I would do it. So if you did not, if you go back to your y equals, if you don't have this stat plot 1 on, it doesn't know what to plot. So then it wouldn't graph anything and it wouldn't go to zoom stat. That's what was happening on yours. Okay? So if you don't have this on, it won't graph it. So now we want to do the second part of what this is telling us so that we can go to the second question. Okay, we haven't even finished this one, right? So we are now going to use, so just read through this first. I need you to pay attention up this way. So pressing stat, then it says you are going to go to the calc button. So just wait, we're going to go through it. So at the top where we had edit before, we're now going to see calculate. And we wanted to calculate the linear regression. Okay? It says you will press enter, and we want it to be in this form. This is kind of our slope-intercept form. Okay? When you do that, what's going to happen on your graphing calculators? It's kind of going to show up like this. Shh, no, I need you to not talk. It's going to first say like this. Then you will have to hit enter in order for it to get you these statistics. Yours should be 409 if you put your numbers in right. You should have a negative 815, right? 1,000 that we were looking at yesterday. You probably will not show these two, the R squared or the R, because our calculators are older calculators. So, on your calculator right now, let's do this together. So, we want to go back to the home screen, we hit what? Second mode. If you had anything there, please clear it. Now, hit the stat button, turn to the front, please. Turn all the way to the front, thank you. Up on the top, you're going to use calculate. We're going to use our arrow button. So it says there's some variables, variable stats, the median, linear regression. I'm going to choose 4. I believe yours is 4 also. Notice mine has another linear regression, and it just switches around the slope and the y-intercept, right? We're going to use the first one. So type 4. Yours comes up just a little differently. Yours is going to come up when you go down and hit 4, so calculate. Nope, so at the top, don't clear the list. So, you hit stat, you arrow to calculate. So stat, everyone with me? Yes. Arrow to calculate, arrow to the right to calculate. Choose option 4 for linear regression.
How do you do that?
Then, mine is a little different than yours. You need to hit enter twice. You need to hit enter twice. Hit enter the first time, and then the second time you should get something that looks very much like this.
How do you do?
Okay? Did you hit enter twice? So, this is telling us my slope is what? 409. And my y-intercept is about a negative 815,446. We are going to go right now to your y equals. Go to y equals. Please put in 409x.
Where's the X?
X is right next to the alpha. Mine's up here in red. So we are typing this slope in to our calculator. 409x. Then you're going to put minus, and you're going to put this 815,446. So I put minus 815,446, and I hit graph. It will have my data points, and it will have my line.
Mine didn't do anything.
My line is like way off.
So,
I don't even see
if we are looking at this, do you think it matters what we used for our slope? That we only went to 409, not 409.428. So, go back to your y equals. Get y equals.
Y equals.
And this time, right behind this 409, so you're going to use your arrow key, 409, we're going to put 0.42. Then we're going to put x. So, 409.42x, and then it was minus 815,446.7.
Hold on, I'm
So you're looking at your notes, and you're putting in,
hold up.
write this page on your notes, right? When I look at your notes, you are typing in this number for your slope, and this for your y-intercept. It's right in front of you in your notes. You're putting that for y equals, but instead of putting a, you're going to put the 409 point. We just said let's try 428 because 409 wasn't close. So turn and look right here. Turn and go right in your notes. I know, but I need you to turn forward and looking at that. Okay? If you are rounding slope, it's going to be less accurate. So when I look at my y equals,
I'm still thinking.
so I had to go to my 409.42x. I put in my minus 815,446.7. The first time I didn't have any numbers behind the decimal point. The second time it was better. Okay?
I just
So-
everything that you did and mine still doesn't do anything.
That's because your data. Right? We got to clear our list. So we're going to hit stat. At edit, we're going to hit enter. How do I clear list 1? Someone tell me.
Oh,
What do I need to do? Go, Keegan, tell me.
You go on top of list 1 and
So I use the arrow button. I get all the way up to L1, and I want to hit clear.
then
Okay.
enter.
So everyone should be with us for the second part. Yeah, so some of you are still doing your own thing. Please hit stat, go to the list. Keegan just said go arrow up to list 1 and hit clear. Enter. Go back, hit down, way down, you want to be on the top edit. So just hit enter. Edit. Enter. Alright, so some of you hit the word stack. Locus. Then it is on this first edit under edit. Hit enter. List 1. List 2. Clear them. Clear them both. Clear, enter. What numbers do you want to put in list 1? Top. These numbers right here, so please put those in. Okay? Stop. We now are going to hit zoom. What kind of zoom do we want for our graph? 9 statistics. Okay? Okay? Zoom. But some of you didn't have your data points in, even though you told me I all have my data points, and some of you weren't there yet. You were talking and doing other things. So that was zoom. Okay? Zoom 9. Okay? So, next, give him his calculator back. He needs to do it himself.
Yeah.
So, list 1, list 2. If you hadn't typed them in, you can't do the rest of this with us. Okay?
Yeah.
28. What would I have my x being equal to? 28. Same equation, right? I'm still going to just be replacing my x value, if I was looking at that. I'm going to replace my x value with 28 with 50. And then it asks you, are the answers extrapolation or interpolation from our data? 50 would definitely be what? Outside of our data points?
Yeah.
Is 28 outside of our data points?
Yes.
Again, if you're trying to look at what your data points are, when you're on your calculator, if you hit the trace button, when you have the line, it says, oh, this is the plots, and if I use my arrow key, notice it moves from point to point. If I put the up arrow, when you hit that up arrow, this was my equation for the line. So then I'm moving along the line. Here's what you are going to do for tomorrow, okay, when you come into class. Tomorrow, you do need to bring your device with you. For tonight, you need to have questions 1 through 3 done doing this graph. Tomorrow, when we come in, we'll finish with 4 through the rest of this. We get some more time using the graphing calculator if you need to.